Chapter 1. Declan stepped out of his afternoon lecture into the brisk Halifax air, the late winter wind carrying with it the sting of salt from the harbor. It was the beginning of his final semester at Dalhousie University, and the thought sat heavy on his mind as he adjusted the strap of his bag. Senior year, his last chance to leave a mark before graduation. The familiar stone pathways of campus stretched before him, but today they felt different, as though every step forward was nudging him closer to something unknown. Almost there, he muttered to himself, thinking of his usual refuge, the Killam Memorial Library. Inside the library, the warmth struck him like a wave. He knew this place by heart, the rustle of paper, the muted footsteps echoing down the wide corridors, the distant whir of printers. Declan had spent countless hours here in his undergraduate years. It was more than just a study spot. It was a place of focus, almost sacred in the rhythm it carried. He often told himself it was the one constant in the whirlwind of deadlines and shifting friendships. As he climbed the stairs toward his usual floor, he whispered, "One more semester. Just one more push." He settled at his regular table by the wide windows, overlooking campus rooftops dusted with frost. Unpacking his laptop and notebook, he tried to dive into his thesis notes. Lines of text sprawled across his pages, but his focus wavered. Declan had grown comfortable here, too comfortable perhaps, and it showed in the steady rhythm of his routine. Tap pen, write line, glance at laptop, repeat. The Killam had always been predictable, a quiet constant where nothing surprising ever happened. But then something broke the rhythm. A flash of color, soft, unmistakable, caught the corner of his eye. He blinked, shifting in his chair. Across the room, not far from his spot, sat a girl with hair the color of sakura blossoms. Pink. It shimmered under the sunlight streaming through the windows. She bent over a sketchbook, pencil gliding across the page in practiced ease. Her expression was one of focus, but there was also a calm warmth in her presence that unsettled him. Declan's pen froze mid-sentence. He wasn't used to noticing people like this, not here, not in his sanctuary of study. As though sensing the weight of his stare, she looked up. Their eyes met. Hers, blue, startlingly clear, held his for a breath longer than expected. Declan felt his chest tighten. The silence between them hummed louder than the buzz of laptops around them. For a moment, neither moved. And then, before he could overthink it, he let the word escape. "Hi." The sound was soft, almost nervous but real. She blinked, then smiled faintly, and the corners of her eyes softened as if acknowledging him. Without a word, she dipped her head and returned to her sketchbook, but her smile lingered like a flame. Declan sat frozen, staring down at his notes but not absorbing a single word. His pulse thudded in his ears. He mouthed the word again, silently this time. "Hi." So simple, so small, yet it felt like he had broken some unspoken barrier. This library had never been a place for introductions. It was for studying, for burying oneself in silence. And yet, with one word, Declan felt something shift. He risked another glance at her. She was sketching again, her pencil moving in confident strokes. Who was she? Why here? Why now? In the very place where he thought nothing ever changed. He tried to continue working, but his eyes betrayed him every few minutes, drawn to her table. Sometimes she scribbled furiously. Other times she paused, tapping her pencil thoughtfully against the edge of the page. Declan caught himself smiling whenever she tilted her head slightly, strands of pink hair falling across her face. He scolded himself quietly. "Focus, Declan. Thesis first." But his pen only doodled aimless lines in the margins. His sanctuary of concentration had been rewritten in the span of minutes. Eventually, when he looked up again, the chair across the way was empty. Her sketchbook was gone, her presence erased as quickly as it appeared. The disappointment surprised him with its weight. He stared at the empty spot, waiting for her to return, though he knew she wouldn't. Gathering his things, he exhaled slowly. "Who is she?" he whispered to no one. He stepped outside into the cold Halifax air again, the library doors closing heavily behind him. But the question remained with him, lodged firmly in the back of his mind. That night, in his small, off-campus apartment, Declan tried to work. The glow of his desk lamp fell across stacks of books and notes, but every line he read blurred into the memory of her face. He leaned back, pressing his palms over his eyes, and laughed softly to himself. "I'm losing it," he murmured, but he knew he wasn't. Something had begun in that moment, an interruption to his pattern, a spark he couldn't quite explain. Even if all he had said was one word, even if she hadn't replied in kind, the image of her smile kept returning, steady and unshakable. The following days, Declan returned to Killam with renewed anticipation. His steps were quicker, his eyes scanning the room the moment he entered. He told himself it was for studying, for progress on his thesis. But deep down, he knew it wasn't just that anymore. Sometimes he thought he caught a glimpse of her hair in the sunlight, only to find it was someone else. And still, he kept looking. One word had begun it all. One glance had unsettled years of routine. Declan leaned back in his chair one evening, the library buzzing softly around him, and smiled faintly. And though he didn't know it yet, that was when everything truly began.